and welcome to Late to School, a Sailor Moon watchcast. I'm Lorena.
And I'm Zach.
And today we're going to be talking about the first episodes of the second arc of Sailor Moon.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to make a lot of Utena references today, so look forward to that, people who haven't watched Utena and listened to this.
We recently finished Utena together with some other friends.
Yes, and I promise it will be relevant because there's some fucking Utena parallels in this first episode.
There's an Utena reference I want to make that I really hope you're not planning to make. So let's just get into it.
Yeah.
With episode 14, a new enemy appears, Nephrite's evil Crest.
Yep.
This episode was directed by Junichi Sato and written by Shigeru Yanagikawa. It aired June 13th, 1992 in Japan, and September 25th, 1995 in English. Real quick, I don't know if you've noticed this. Mm-hmm. The English airings for these episodes, there's no gaps. They're just day, new Sailor Moon episode every day.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to that, huh?
Yeah.
But there are gaps for the Japanese episodes.
There is at least a week between each episode in Japanese.
Huh.
Which is weird. I don't know if as a child I would have had the stamina for a new episode of Sailor Moon every day.
Yeah, I mean by child standards that's binge watching.
Yeah,
I do want to point out before we get into the episode proper, I have started just when I'm doing writing these recaps notes now. I have started specifically writing the opening speeches that Usagi gives because they're so often now completely different from the speeches in the actual episode.
Yes.
And I especially want to point out this one. Okay. Because it's a pretty long one. Yeah. But it's got some good parts to it. So this episode is about tennis, for the record. I want to say that because this speech is said over a montage of tennis shit happening in the episode. On the court, you only have yourself to rely on. Monsters aren't allowed to score an ace. I won't let you get an advantage either. How dare you use tennis for your evil ends? Even Navratilova would be upset. I am Sailor Moon, and in the name of the moon, I'll return your serve for a point.
Yep. Which, that last part is said over the, stock footage, where Usagi normally says,
I'll punish you.
Yeah,
That's just a very good start to
It's a very good start to this episode. The, explanation of what has happened up till now is also different in this episode. Now, instead of Usagi explaining that she's a Cancer and blood type O and all that stuff, she explains who Ami and Rei are.
Yes.
When we get into the episode proper, we start in the Dark Kingdom.
Tiger Hell.
We see Nephrite, who we met last episode.
Yes.
As a reminder, he's like a tall dude with long brown hair. Yeah. He wears the same uniform that Jadeite wore.
And he's talking to Beryl.
Yes, he is explaining why Jadeite's plan sucked so much.
Yes. Which he gives as... Jadeite was too indiscriminate with his energy gathering. He was trying to gather energy from too many people at once, and just from anybody. Yeah. And Nephrite's solution to that is to read the stars, and, read the fates, and figure out who is going to have the most energy at a given time. Yes. And then try to maximize that person's energy and drain it all from that one person at once.
Yeah. I should say at this point, Nephrite is voiced by Liam O'Brien. Okay. Who's a very famous voice actor. He's one of the main cast members of Critical Role, the voice actor D&D show. He's also Gaara in Naruto.
Okay.
And
that's Sand Boy.
That's the sand boy with the weird eyes, yes.
Yeah.
He's also Archer in the Fate series, which is a shame, because he sucks.
The character of Archer?
The character Archer sucks.
Okay. I thought you were going to say he's Archer in Archer, the show Archer.
No, that's, H. John Benjamin.
Okay.
Who does... I guess there are some similarities between their voices, but no, he's not Archer.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
He is also Inigo in Fire Emblem Awakening.
Oh, yay! No, he's not a shit. Is he a shit? I got him confused with another character.
Inigo's kind of a womanizer, but he has some depths to him.
Okay. But we're not here to talk about
We're not here to talk about
Fire Emblem characters. Although, join our next future podcast Late to Army, where we talk about...
What a good name for that one.
Fucking Late to Dragons.
But after Nephrite finishes explaining, or kind of in the middle of him explaining this to Beryl, we hear a voice sort of laughing at him, and floating behind him is this, like, this smaller boy, not a small boy, smaller man.
He's a young man, yeah.
He's very pretty.
Yeah, long blonde hair.
Yeah, and a ponytail. And he basically, he is Zoisite.
Yes. Nephrite identifies him as Zoisite.
And he basically is like, oh, you suck, Nephrite. You're gonna fail. I'm so ready for you to crawl back here on your hands and knees.
And Nephrite literally tells him, just get lost. And then he fucking Zoisite just fucking disappears in a spray of flower petals or something.
Zoisite is very good. Zoisite is voiced by Lucian Dodge, who we have talked about before because he voices Motoki.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna say right now, there's no connection between them.
Okay. Well, why would... I mean, this show has also had other characters who are voiced by the same people and have no connection.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like Purple Pants and Tuxedo Mask, they have the same voice actor.
Yeah. Even though we've gone over him before, in case, apparently he doesn't voice very many people, Lucian Dodge. Because the only character I have down for him is Leon from Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia. So
that is a very good character, though.
It's a very good character. Also, you can maybe see the parallels between Zoisite and Leon better than you could see them between Motoki and Leon. And
after we leave Geiger Hell, the Dark Kingdom, in the human world, we see, like, there's a bunch of reporters.
Yeah, I would call them paparazzi.
Yes, paparazzi, yes. Who are following a girl named Rui.
Yeah, Rui.
They identify her as Rui, and they're, like, taking pictures of her and asking her how her training is going, and how if she thinks she'll win the next tennis tournament.
Yeah.
And then Rui runs away to get to tennis practice, trying to throw excuses at them, basically, to get away from them. Which is interesting, because that's not really touched upon again in the episode. I mean, Rui as a character is important.
Yeah, the reporters harassing her definitely doesn't really come up again.
Yeah. This episode has a lot of stuff like that, but we'll get to that in the summary, I guess. And then there's a cut here to just another part of Juban. And in the distance, a fucking mountain shows up.
Well, it's a forest, I think.
It is a forest, but it appears to be sort of a hill-shaped... It's over the horizon.
Okay, sure. We see in this forest is a sort of creepy mansion.
Yes, definitely haunted, deeply haunted.
That Nephrite has apparently claimed as his base.
Yes. Or maybe he made it when he also made the weird forest. I don't know what's going on there.
And we see him sort of watching the stars. And
yes, he's not the stars in the sky, to be clear.
No,
he's got like a weird. He's just stars sort of show up. Just the solar system shows up in his fucking house. In his foyer. And he's like, the stars see all, the stars know all.
Yes.
And he looks to the stars.
Did
you know Venus has another name? Lucifer, the morning star.
It is kind of like Akio's.
It's very Akio.
Nephrite is not like Akio. I like Nephrite too much to...
He's also a long-haired hot boy.
He is a long-haired hot boy, you're right.
And there's another parallel that we're gonna...
Nephrite doesn't have a mullet, though, which makes his hair immediately better than Akio's.
That's fair. That's valid.
He specifically looks to Sagittarius / Chiron.
Yes. And he says he's about, the archer Chiron is about to shoot his arrow through the heart of the Milky Way. Nephrite is extremely extra.
He's very extra. Last episode you said that you hoped that he was different than Jadeite, and well, here you go.
He's just more.
He's more.
He's not more of Jadeite, but he's more.
And he basically divines that Rui's energy is going to be at its height.
Yes. He does, I do want to point out, say Rui's last name here.
Oh, does he?
Which is Sayonji.
Oh. Right.
Her name is Rui Sayonji. which is also the name of a character in Utena.
Well, Saionji.
Yes, Saionji is one of the sort of a major character in Utena.
Yeah. Anyway, we then cut to the, tennis court.
Yes. Naru and Usagi are watching Rui. We see her for the first time fully, I think.
Yeah,
here.
We didn't see her face in the scene earlier with the reporters.
She was, obscured by the paparazzi. And she is, she's a girl. She's got black hair and a ponytail.
Yeah. She's got kind of a tennis outfit.
Which makes sense because she's a pro tennis player. And she wins a match as they're watching, and Naru yells out, "That was an awesome match, sis!"
Yeah, which Usagi is very confused by.
Yes.
And gets mad at Naru for not telling her that she had a sister.
Yes. And also says the very good line, and now for hiding things from your best friend, I'll punish you. And she does the fucking gesture. We've not talked about the gesture, have we?
I guess not. It's hard to describe.
Yeah, it's I realized it's kind of it reminds me of the I love you sign in American Sign Language.
Oh,
I don't know if that's intentional because it's a Japanese show.
Yeah, maybe not.
But that is,
that's an interesting
it's thematically relevant considering she fights for love and for justice. But it's kind of like that. It's kind of, she's just shooting web shooters.
And Naru explains, "No, Usagi, you dumbass. You know that I'm an only child, and also I have a different last name from her." And basically tells Usagi that she and Rui have been friends since childhood.
Yeah.
Rui is a year older than Naru.
And she says that Rui has always looked out for her.
Yeah.
Like a big sister would. So that's why she calls her sis. I assume it's the term that actually means big sister.
I assume it's
Japanese.
I don't actually know how to pronounce it because it's Oni-chan, which is spelled Onii-chan.
Okay.
That for big brother, right. And it's Oni-chan, Onee-chan for big sister, and I don't know what the difference in pronunciation is supposed to be.
Right. I wonder if it's just context clues.
Probably. But yes, I do assume that is what she is saying in Japanese.
But then... hey,
hold on.
What's up?
We see Nephrite driving a fucking Akio Himamiya-ass red sports car.
Yes.
He fucking
Can you hear the sound that flows through the end of the world?
Can you feel the throb of the engine? We see he pulls up directly to the tennis court.
Yes.
Which doesn't seem like it is allowed.
No, probably not.
He jumps out of the car. Yeah. Goes up to the fence, jumps directly over it. Before that, we do see a bunch of people watching him and oh, hey, that guy.
He's the CEO of some new company that just moved into town. He's super rich and hot.
Oh yeah, Naru and Usagi both look at him and are like, "Oh, look at that guy, he's so hot." Which I want to say, Jadeite also got a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see it because he's not.
Okay.
But Nephrite's pretty hot.
Okay, that's interesting to me because I feel the reverse.
You do?
Yeah, I think Jadeite actually does it for me more than Nephrite does.
I think it might be their voices as part of it.
That's fair. Yeah, Jadeite's voice is just kind of a douchebag.
No offense to Todd Haberkorn.
No offense to Todd Haberkorn, but he's playing a character who is a douchebag. Yeah. So.
But then Nephrite jumps over the fence.
Just fucking vaults right over. A normal person does.
He also has his hands in his pockets and doesn't take them out when he jumps.
I didn't even notice that.
Which is an incredible power move.
Oh, Nephrite.
And he basically just grabs the racket from a girl who is playing against Rui.
He tells her, "Give me the racket," and she's okay.
And he starts lecturing Rui on her tennis form.
Yes, the pro tennis player, and then he tells Rui to serve him the ball. And she does, and then he does a fucking wild, fucking Winnie the Pooh home run derby ass warlock serve. Well, you've not seen that game?
I haven't. You've told me about it before.
He does a fucking rabbit throw, and it just swerves across the air as it goes towards her.
I think it knocks her racket out of her hand.
Yes, it hits her on the wrist and disarms her.
And he basically lectures her more about it and gives her a tip. And then grabs her racket.
He identifies himself as Masato Sanju.
Right, yes.
And is a coach.
Yes, he's a tennis coach.
He wants to help Rui get better.
Mm-hmm. He takes her racket and, puts an evil emblem on it.
Yes, he summons a monster into the racket, basically. Yeah. And there's, this weird glowing red sigil on the base of the racket.
It's a Japanese character.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't actually know that.
It is actually, I looked it up, it is the Japanese character for ne.
Okay.
Which basically means he's just put his fucking initial on this racket. Okay.
In fairness, they call it Nephrite's evil crest in the title of the episode. Fair.
But yeah, he gives the racket back to her. We see her eyes, dim.
Yes, they go fucking dead.
Uh-huh. She gets otherworldly beans. And
she sure does. None of our fucking audience is gonna get that.
But... I'll retweet it onto the show timeline. She asks someone to match up against her.
Yeah, and then some boy volunteers. Some background brown.
We hear
boy.
Everyone that guy. So this is not a popular boy. He asks her to go easy on him. He serves the ball, and she just fucking annihilates him.
Yes, she hits it so fucking hard. It knocks him over and leaves a fucking burning chunk missing out of the fucking floor of the court.
And we see Naru oh, what the hell? And Usagi oh, so cool.
Yeah, Rui actually, her eyes, we see actually Rui's eyes go back to normal for a second here.
Yeah.
And she, turns to thank, quote-unquote, Masato. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. No,
it's Masato.
It is? Okay. I don't know if we've talked about this on the show, but we've talked about, certainly, between us, how I say fucking Umino. Mm-hmm. Miss Haruna.
Umino acids.
So she turns around to thank Nephrite. We haven't been pretending to.
No, it's obvious.
Yeah, it's just Nephrite. He fucking summons a monster into her racket, so...
But he's gone.
He's gone. And then we cut to him fucking standing on a roof somewhere. Mm-hmm. Not really clear where. There's not really much of an establishing shot.
No. It's somewhere nearby.
Yeah, probably. And he's just talking to himself, saying, the more you use that racket, the more your energy will increase, and the more I can steal. Mm-hmm. So, can I talk real quick about the mechanics of energy again?
I guess?
Can we talk about... So, the idea, Nephrite's idea, was to read the stars to find who has the most energy.
Yes. And bring their energy to its highest point.
Okay, yes. His plan then adds on the summon a monster into an object close to them. In this case, Rui's racket.
Right.
And the monster will increase their energy.
Yes.
Somehow.
Yes.
Which makes them evil.
Yes.
Somehow.
Yes.
And then when their energy has increased to maximum, the monster knocks them the fuck out and sort of summons itself into the physical world.
We haven't seen that yet, but I don't... Yeah. That is right. His plan. That is what happens.
So...
What's your issue?
It's just a lot.
It's a lot.
To take in, I feel like. I still don't know how magic works in this setting.
It just does.
Okay.
Moon power.
No, that's the good guy's power.
As far as you know.
I guess that's fair.
But yeah, we see that, and then
we immediately cut back to the tennis court, and there's a little montage of Rui just demolishing her opponents.
Just destroying people.
And Naru is definitely suspecting at this point that something is off.
Yeah.
And then we cut to, it's nighttime.
Yes, at the arcade. We hear Luna, like, giving her call sign.
Yes, to the Sailor V game again.
Uh-huh.
I did write it all down this time.
The whole, like, call and response?
Yes. She says, "Codename 0091, this is Luna. Passphrase, the rabbit on the moon is pounding rice cakes." And then the voice in the Sailor V game responds, "The moon's rice cakes are sticky." And Luna responds, "And they puff up when you toast them as well."
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah.
I kind of hate that.
Why do you hate it?
That it sounds bad.
I guess. The rabbit on the moon is like a Japanese sort of cultural. It's like the man in the moon.
Yes, and that's thematic because Usagi means rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
She's Sailor Moon.
Right.
But the voice in the cabinet debriefs. Briefs? I always forget which is which.
I think it's briefing her.
Briefs her about the Dark Kingdom.
Yeah,
which they now know the name of.
Yes.
The voice knows.
Whoever the voice is, they've been doing their own sort of investigation and have discovered the Dark Kingdom's identity, and like that also that they are taking human energy.
Yes. But they don't know why yet. Why
there's a very weird bit here where they say, "We found some information on the enemy," and Luna is like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "Yes." And she says, "Oh, okay, I'm sorry." And it's very weird.
Yes. I want to know more about Luna's relationship to this fucking
we'll get
mysterious
more
voice. And then we cut to the next day.
Yeah.
A lot of just rapid time movement in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
At Ray's shrine, the Sailor Guardians and Luna have gathered.
Yeah.
And Luna has explained the situation with the Dark Kingdom. Ray suggests that they just fucking burst right in and just fight the Dark Kingdom.
Yeah.
Which is a dumb plan. Because A, where? B, no.
Luna explains that they need to level up first.
Yes, they need to train. Ami also is on board with that plan. Usagi suggests that they train via tennis. And they're like, why tennis? And
she just says, she doesn't really give a good explanation.
No.
But then she kind of mumbles to herself, "Oh, but there's this really hot coach, Masato Sanjuin," and does like I don't know if it's a noble woman's laugh or if it's just
it is. She does go oh. I forgot about that. I'm so glad you remembered that part because I didn't even write that down. But it's very important to me. The laugh she does at this moment. Luna chides her.
And basically just says that she's very glad that Ami and Ray are on the team.
Yes. And then Usagi, taking offense to that, is like, "Hey, what the fuck is that supposed to mean?" And Ray says, "It means that maybe there was some mistake in you being a Sailor Guardian." And Usagi thinks that's very mean, which is fair, because it is.
Yeah.
But Ami also says that they're being too harsh on her, and Usagi hugs her, and it's a very good moment. And I love them. I love them all. They're my daughters.
Okay.
And then Usagi asks Ami if she wants to go with the tennis plan. But Ami's like,
I got cram school. I can't.
Which could either be true
or a lie.
Or
it's probably true, but also a convenient excuse.
Yes. We cut back to
the tennis court.
Yes. Where Rui has fucking stepped on a girl's racket and broke it in half. And Naru at this point fully realizes that something is fucked. And that's it. And then we hit a commercial break.
Yeah. When we come back from commercial.
Where they're at Naru's family store.
Yeah.
We open on the store, which I guess they just like live above.
Yeah, they live above it, yeah.
Because we see Naru's room. Naru and Usagi are drinking tea together.
Yeah.
And Naru is kind of explaining that something's fucked.
Yeah, We see sort of a, like, flashback montage of her and Rui as children.
Yes. And baby Naru is so fucking cute.
It's very cute. We see, like, a bunch of boys bullying Naru, and then Rui comes and drives them away.
Yeah, she chases them off with a stick.
We see them, like, playing on the playground.
Yeah, we see they're playing tennis together.
We then get a, like, more recent flashback, probably to, like, yesterday.
Yeah.
Where Naru is confronting Rui and like, hey, are you okay? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And Rui snaps at her and is like, no, get away.
Yeah, she's like, she just tells her she has no business getting involved in her business.
Which makes Naru very sad.
Yes. Usagi's, when we flash back to the present, like, Naru is, like, crying. Mm-hmm. And Usagi wants to help.
Yes.
So she suggests, like, poking around and finding out, doing what Usagi does best, which is snoop. And try to see if they can figure out together what the fuck is going on with Rui.
There's a time skip, and
it's evening now.
Usagi and Naru have arrived at, like, a tennis training place.
Yes.
That I think is separate from the court that Rui was playing at earlier.
Okay.
Because I think that court is, like, a public place.
Okay,
but this is, like, a private training facility.
Okay. And Naru says that this is where she usually trains.
Yeah.
Usagi gets a bad feeling from this place. Mm-hmm. This is, at this point, like, internally suspects that this could be a monster.
Yeah.
And thinking about...
So she's thinking about how it might be a monster, and the music that had been playing, that was like this ominous, like, creepy music, cuts out, and she's like, oh, but this could be an opportunity to prove that I'm not useless.
Yes, she wants to fight the monster solo to prove to Luna and Rei that she's a good Sailor Guardian.
Yes.
Which, fair.
Fair.
At this point, Naru and Usagi both hear, like, a ruckus going on in the tennis training court area. And Rui is there and has smashed a fucking tennis ball at these other two guys that she's playing with so hard that the tennis ball has ripped apart.
She is playing solo against two guys at this point.
And then she very threateningly says she's going to serve another ball. And laughs maniacally as she's about to serve the ball. But Naru and Usagi step in the way across her from the court, and the guys sort of just run off in fear of this tennis playing mad woman.
And Naru tries to, like, get through to Rui and be like, hey, we can talk about this, whatever's wrong. But Rui is just like, no, I gotta tennis. She's very angry and she looks evil.
Yes. And then a fucking her racket does some shit.
Yeah, her racket does some shit.
Which is summon a fucking sandstorm that, like, knocks Naru and Usagi off the court.
Yeah.
Which knocks Naru clean out.
Yes.
Just like she's unconscious. I think Usagi just lands in a fucking bush.
Yeah.
And at this point, we hear Nephrite. Saying, I didn't write down exactly what he says, but he's like, he beckons the monster in the racket, to Suni. We
see him, like, in his forest mansion. We get, like, his equivalent of the Jadeite middle finger scene.
He beckons the monster Tasuni because Rui's energy is at its peak now, I guess. Because that's what doing a sandstorm means. He tells Tasuni to just fucking steal her energy.
Right.
And then there's this really well-drawn, fucking well-animated sequence where, like, everything is very dark and sinister as, like, the monster gets summoned out of the tennis racket, like, is like a shadow thing, at first, like, just this vague shadow with glowing eyes. And Rui gets knocked out by the monster draining her energy, and then Tasuni, the monster, shows up with her fiery tennis racket.
Yes.
And her weird flat top hair.
Yeah,
and her giant shoulder pad fur.
It's a design.
It's a design. She's kind of hot. Okay. I'm kind of into Tasuni.
Okay, alright.
You got the fuck...
No, I'm not... Listen. I'm not saying you're not allowed to say that. I just don't see it.
You don't see it? Okay.
No. But yeah, the monster's here.
Yes. Usagi sees the monster.
Yeah.
Which would be hard to not do because she's very big. And she's like, well, shit. And transforms into Sailor Moon. And does sort of a variation on the speech at the beginning.
Yeah.
Including mentioning Navratilova. I still don't know who that is.
I looked up who she is. She is a, so I should have looked up the specifics of what I'm about to say, but I didn't, which is on me, but she was a She was a She was a tennis player from what is now the Czech Republic. And she, quote, defected to the West, which I'm not sure. I should have looked up what that meant, but she's also, like, an advocate for gay rights and animal rights.
Oh.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Don't know why Usagi knows who she is, but, you know.
She just knows tennis.
I guess.
Usagi just likes tennis for this episode.
Yeah.
So Sailor Moon gives her speech.
Yeah.
And I believe Chisuni is literally just says, whatever. And then throws a fucking magic sphere at Usagi.
Yes.
Which traps Usagi
in a giant tennis ball.
This is an extremely tennis-themed monster. Which you would not get from her design, at all.
Not really. And Usagi is immobilized by the tennis ball trap.
Tsuni starts, telepathically bouncing her around the court.
Yeah.
And Usagi just screams that she should have gotten the others' help. And Tsuni says my favorite fucking line in this episode.
What is it?
Which is, serves you right.
Oh, right. Yeah, That's love tennis.
Love tennis. But then Tsuni gets hit in the eye with a fucking rose.
And we see Tuxedo Mask.
Yes, it's not on a tight.
Start that again. Is not.
Can I explain what happened there?
No.
No?
What happened?
I said hall and tie because I was trying to say tall and high.
Okay. And Tuxedo Mask is here.
Yes, he's not on a tall thing or a high place now.
He's just on the court?
He's on a bench. He's just sitting on a bench.
He's sitting on a bench.
He's just lounging.
And he
chides the monster.
He chides the monster, jumps into the air.
Yes. And then
pulls out his cane.
He has a cane now, by the way.
I mean, he has a tuxedo and a top hat. Why would he not have a cane?
Right, of course. He's a magician.
And he thrusts the cane.
Yes.
In the direction of Tsuni.
And it extends.
Very long.
Very long. It's not telescopic.
No, it's magical.
It's just magical.
It extends 30 feet.
It becomes it's like a fucking... He's a D&D character, and this is his 10-foot pole.
But he hits her in, the forehead.
Yes. He just fucking knocks her down.
Which causes her, magical hold on Usagi to be disabled,
She has been disenchanted. Because I guess the magic needs focus.
What?
I guess the magic needs focus.
Oh,
she failed her fucking concentration roll.
Yeah, Usagi's very happy to see Tuxedo Mask.
Yes, and she's very excited especially because now they are sort of in a reverse of the position of those two guys and Rui earlier. Tsuni is on one side of the court, and Tuxedo Mask and Usagi are on the other side.
Yes.
And Usagi's very excited that she gets to fight alongside Tuxedo Mask for what is pretty much the first time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because the cane thing is, one of the most things we've ever seen Tuxedo Mask do.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Tsuni starts throwing fireballs at them from her fiery tennis racket.
And they, dodge them.
Yes.
Usagi panics.
Tuxedo Mask does throw a rose, another rose at her, and it hits her, flower first this time, instead of stem first.
Yeah,
I guess just to distract her.
Right.
And then he tells Sailor Moon to finish her off.
Right.
But then something weird happens.
He flickers.
He flickers, there's this flash of color over him.
Yeah, and he doubles over in pain.
Yes, he falls to his knees. And Sailor Moon is are you okay?
And he's don't worry about me, just do it.
Yeah, and so she does.
Moon Tiara action.
Yes, and she fucking kills Tsuni. And then Rei, Ami, and Luna show up just in time to be useless as they watch as the sort of dusty form of the monster dissolves. We see Rui start stirring awake as the monster that has been draining her energy has been killed, and Tuxedo Mask is gone.
Yeah,
he doesn't even get a
farewell,
fly into the air.
No, he's just gone.
He's just gone, and Usagi is worried about him and hopes he's okay. And then in our denouement, we cut back to the tennis court. Naru is talking to us, whereas we see Rui is back to her normal self. She's playing tennis.
And Naru is explaining that she has basically forgotten the last few days.
Yes.
Rui has, not Naru.
Right. And Usagi's like, well, that's fine. Like, as long as she's okay now. Which I actually like a lot as a line.
Yeah.
If, like, I might be reading too much into that one little exchange, but I really like just Usagi's very practical, down-to-earth, like, reactions to things.
Yeah,
In the sense of, like, the thing about Usagi is she doesn't really care about the mystery stuff.
Right.
She just wants everybody to be okay.
Yeah,
which is nice, and I like that. And we also get a very nice moment of Rui invites Naru to play tennis with her.
Yeah.
And it's very sweet and cute, and then Usagi gets pegged in the face with a tennis ball. And then the episode ends.
Yeah.
I think it's notable that we don't see Zoisite again in this episode.
No, we don't.
We also, spoiler warning, don't see him in the next episode.
No.
So I don't know what his deal is.
No.
He's just another gem.
He's just another gem.
A dark kingdom. A dark king.
He's, I mean, I guess that's, yeah. So, I don't think this is a spoiler. Jadeite, Nephrite, Zoisite, and another character we'll meet later are the 4 heavenly kings.
Okay.
Or at least they're called that in Japanese.
Okay.
So yeah.
He is the Dark King, then.
He's a Dark King.
He's a heavenly king. I just fucking called it. Called shot.
But yeah, now we're fuck. Now
we're fuck. That could be the fucking tagline of this show.
So next up is episode 15, Usagi's Panic, Rei's First Date.
Unfortunately, I guess those are technically referring to the same event, but
yeah,
not in the way I would like.
Oh, that's fair. I mean, you could probably interpret. We'll get it. We'll get to it.
Okay.
This episode was so. It's weird that last episode was the one with all the like Utena parallels. Because this episode was directed by Kunihiko Ikehara, who is the director of Utena.
Right.
It was written by Shigeru Yanagikawa.
Okay. He's got 2 in a row.
Yeah. It aired June 20th, 1992 in Japan, and September 26th, 1995 in English.
Okay. I wrote down, again, the beginning speech.
Okay.
For this episode.
Is it memorable? Is it notable?
Nah.
Okay.
No. We open this episode. I think this is the first episode in a while that hasn't opened on Geiger Hell.
Yeah, probably.
We open on pretty much the opposite of Geiger Hell, which is a beautiful park.
Yes.
We see the sort of Juban, the like skyline in the distance, and it's on like there's a lake. It's very pretty.
It's very pretty.
And we see our 3 girls.
Yeah.
Usagi, Rei, and Ami are there, and they're talking about how pretty it is. Usagi's like, this would be a great place to go on a date.
Yeah.
Which is a just interesting thing to say around these 2 girls you definitely don't have a crush on or anything.
She doesn't even say this would be. Like,
she says this
is a great place for a date. So, like, they're just on a date.
They're just on a date.
They're just all 3 on a date.
Sailors is polyamory.
Usagi has 2 hands.
I mean, considering all the people Usagi has crushes on, she's gonna need more.
Yeah. Yeah, she is gonna need more.
They explain basically through their conversation that Ami has introduced them to this place.
Yes, she like goes here.
Yes, she goes here to read before cramp school.
Because it's so peaceful.
Yes, which, that's wild to me. Just reading before school.
Well, listen, she's a nerd.
I know, but like,
To me, the wild part is reading outside.
I get that, actually.
Okay,
fair. I can see that. I'd rather do as few things as possible outside in general. Though. Yeah,
that's the thing for me.
Ami basically kind of explains that she knows the groundskeeper.
Yeah.
We see him now.
Yeah.
His name is Mr. Kokoritsu.
Okay.
Mr. Kokoritsu is kind of an older guy. He's like... he's got kind of dark skin, and black hair.
He's got wrinkles.
He's got a nice hat.
He's
got a nice gardener's hat, and they see him there, and he's gardening, and Ami starts up a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And in the conversation that all the girls are having with Mr. Kokuritsu, he mentions that even though he's currently the person who keeps the whole park in check, pretty much, but he won't be for long
because the owner has sold it to a just like a developer, I guess.
Yeah, like a big business.
Yeah,
it's going to be replaced with an office building.
Yeah.
And we see actually like the machines. There's like a cut. They're not like right next to the machines or anything.
No,
but we see like the bulldozers and things like that already demolishing the park.
Yeah.
And everyone's pretty fucking sad about this because it's a real pretty park.
Yeah.
And it's where Mr. Kokuritsu fucking works.
Yeah.
So he's gonna lose his job, so that sucks.
It's a shame there's no gardeners union for him.
Yeah. But, well, Ami and Mr. Kokuritsu and Luna, Luna's not here.
And Usagi.
Are sad. Rei has some different priorities.
She basically just says to herself, oh, if this park is going to be gone soon, I better hurry up and get someone to take on a date here.
Yes.
Which is a hell of a thing.
Yes. Rei sure is. She sure is.
She sure is.
She sure is Rei.
She sure is Rei.
We cut to the arcade now, where Luna is actually waiting outside. She's like talking to herself and like about how she's waiting on the girls. And then she almost gets run over by a goddamn truck.
Yeah.
She just walks into the fucking street. I will note this. They animated her looking both ways. And then a truck almost
materializes, I guess.
This truck has been sent to assassinate Luna.
Yeah. But she is saved.
Yes. By
a man.
By a man. Who is our friend. Purple Pants.
Yeah.
Although he is not.
Let's talk about his outfit.
Let's talk about his outfit in this episode.
I don't even know where to begin with it.
Yeah, he's not... Well, let's start with the obvious, which is, as we have called him Purple Pants in the past.
Right.
He is not currently wearing purple pants.
No, he's wearing, athletic wear.
Yeah, he's got, jeans.
I think they're, sweatpants.
Are they? Okay.
Maybe.
They look like the same weird, light green color that, Usagi's jean jacket was.
Maybe they are jeans then.
But he's got...
a sweater.
He's got, a sleeveless green sweater or shirt or something.
Well, I don't even know if it probably is sleeveless, but
he at least rolls up the sleeves.
It looks like he has rolled up the sleeves so far that they aren't even covering his shoulders.
Yes. He's got he's got a gray vest over that green shirt.
Like a sweater vest, not like a suit vest.
Right. And then his fucking, I don't know what the fuck is happening with his collar. He's got, it looks like there's another sweater, bunched up. He's got, a poofy yellow collar. Which could be part of the green shirt, but it seems, different from the collar of the green shirt.
It's a disaster.
He's a fashion disaster. He cannot dress to save his goddamn life.
He cannot.
But he does do a good thing.
He saves Luna from getting run over.
Yes.
The girls show up as he is, putting her down.
Usagi is very mad.
Yes.
Because she has not seen him save her.
Right.
She just sees this asshole she hates.
Holding Luna.
Yes. And she's very protective of Luna. Which is nice. I like that dynamic between them. She just fucking rips her out of his arms.
And is holding Luna by, her front legs.
Yes, which is not a thing you should do for a cat. Although Luna's an alien, so...
Yeah, and she, just starts ranting at him about how he shouldn't mess with Luna.
Yes.
She almost spills the beans on how Luna is a magical cat.
Yes, she's just not any ordinary cat. She's very special.
But then Rei and Ami show up and are like, hey, Usagi, you should thank him. He saved her.
Especially Rei, because she has established a liking for Purple Pants already. And then they're still continuing their argument when Motoki appears out of, because they're right in front of the arcade still.
Yeah.
And he comes out of the arcade, and Motoki greets Purple Pants.
Yeah.
And Purple Pants greets Motoki in turn by name.
Yeah.
And Usagi is like, hey, what the fuck? Why do you two know each other?
And it turns out they go to the same college.
Yes. Usagi is very surprised that Purple Pants is an
adult?
Well, a college student.
Yes.
I think she's referred to him being an adult before.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, she's very shocked about him going to college, which is weird to me. And then before we continue that, there's another cut to the Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
The mansion of Nephrite. Where he is once again gazing at the fucking
the stars.
The planetarium. Nephrite reads the stars. I forget which fucking planetary bodies. I forget
which one it was
he mentions this time. It wasn't one of the fucking 12 zodiacs, so like who gives a shit? I can't remember. Stars. He fucking the moon thing. It looks like the moon, but I think it's supposed to be the sun, actually.
Okay.
Sends the fucking telepathic image of Mr. Kokoritsu to him. He is the one.
Surprise.
Yeah. One of the one new character in this episode. He is the one whose energy will grow the most in the coming days. Yeah. And then we cut immediately back to the arcade.
Usagi is playing the Sailor V game while Ami watches.
There's an extremely funny exchange when Usagi loses the game and is about to put another quarter in, and
does she say quarter?
Yeah,
that's weird.
Yes. That is weird. But Ami says, "Should you really be wasting your money like this?" And Usagi says, "You're right, give me a quarter." Which is extremely good.
But that's just like background for the actual focus of the scene.
Yes.
Which is Rei talking to Motoki.
Yes.
Motoki reveals to us that Purple Pants' name is Mamoru.
Yes. So now we can stop calling him Purple Pants.
Yes.
Which I am not as married to Geiger as Geiger or Melvin. Because Purple Pants is so many syllables.
Yeah, it is.
I think it might be the same number of syllables as Mamoru, but Mamoru's a name.
Yeah.
So.
And Rei is just basically asking Motoki about him.
Yes. Motoki, he doesn't say this directly, but he does through the topic of conversation reveal that Mamoru is rich. And lives alone in a condo.
Yes.
And
Rei is into that.
Yes. Rei also assumes he's smart because apparently the college that they are both in is hard to get into.
Okay.
And Motoki's like, "Hey, why do you want to know so much about Mamoru?" And Rei's like, no reason. No reason. And then she immediately starts fantasizing about Mamoru. And I think she knows
his last name,
which
Chiba.
is Chiba.
Yeah.
Okay. She's talking about how he would make the perfect boyfriend. And she internally monologues about deciding that he is the one that she will take on a date to the park. And as she does this, she fucking Captain Morgan's her fucking leg up
onto the arcade cabinet stool.
She is purely thinking to herself, not out loud.
No.
So we see Motoki just looking at her doing this, just facing the camera that he can't see. Just it's a very funny scene.
It's pretty funny.
And then the stool starts to slip, and Rei falls and busts her head open. Meanwhile, Usagi is still losing the video game and wasting Ami's money. And then we cut to the park again. And we see Mr. Kokoritsu. I like this guy a lot, for the record.
Nice.
He seems like a nice dude.
Even when he turns evil,
yeah,
I'm still a fan of him.
Yeah. Mr. Kokoritsu watches the machines tearing down the park, sadly. And Nephrite shows up behind him. He just walks up. He doesn't even teleport or anything. He just fucking walk.
No, Nephrite has his car.
Yeah. I fucking wish he just drove the fucking car through the park.
That'd be incredible.
How good would it be if he went full Akio on the car and the car was just everywhere? Every time a monster shows up, it's just in the background for no reason. He's not even there. Oh, God. But Nephrite is sort of stoking Mr. Kokoritsu into radicalism, into eco-terrorism, by saying, fucking those people shouldn't have the right to destroy Mother Nature and stuff like that. We skipped over this. I should point out, Mr. Kokoritsu's main issue with the demolishing of the park was the wildlife.
Yes.
Like, he was worried about, like, where the wildlife would go.
He does. After. He says, like, I don't know where the animals who live here will go after it's destroyed.
Right.
Which is a good point.
Yes.
That happens a lot when parks are developed over.
Mm-hmm. It's also part of why I like him.
Yeah.
He's got a good priorities. He's a sweet man.
But Nephrite is radicalizing him.
Yes. And fucking Nephrite says that Mr. Kokuritsu should show these humans the wrath of Mother Nature. And when Mr. Kokuritsu is like, why? Nephrite says, because it is your duty. It is your responsibility. And then he just fucking gestures at his head. And summons his monster into his hat. Into his nice gardener's hat. Mm-hmm. And we get a green Nephrite symbol this time. Yeah. Nephrite's evil crest. Mm-hmm. That's the worst brand of toothpaste, by the way.
Great.
Nephrite's evil crest. And then Nephrite fucking vanishes, pretty much. And Mr. Kokuritsu is sort of confused about what just happened. And looks to the construction work being done.
Yes.
And gets mad. And fucking butterflies show up.
Yeah.
You remember those ineffectual sleep bats from that earlier episode? These butterflies are like that times 10.
Yes.
Because these butterflies...
These butterflies are out for blood.
Yes. These butterflies fucking break lights somehow. And fucking demolish their fucking machinery and make it blow up. And, like... They're butterflies. They're not big.
They're not big butterflies.
They're just very brightly colored butterflies.
Yes.
Which I wish I had this superpower, is to just summon killer butterflies.
Yeah.
Because how much more insulting of a fucking death can you give your enemies, really?
Caterpillars.
You got me there.
Yeah.
You do got me there. So yeah, Mr. Kokuritsu is fucking Poison Ivy now.
Yeah.
And can control plants and animals. And then we cut to... I'm not sure the time frame of this episode.
Yeah, it's unclear.
But we're somewhere else, and it's the day.
Yeah.
And we're on a street corner.
Yes.
With Rei.
Yeah.
Who...
is talking to herself.
Yes. As characters in anime seem to be wont to do.
Yeah.
Which I'm not knocking.
No.
It's not a silly thing. Like, that's fucking Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Like, having an aside. And
she's planning how to arrange a meet cute.
Yes.
With Mamoru.
Yes. Her plan, she knows that this is, she knows from Motoki that, which also, why does Motoki know this and give her this information, that this is a path that Mamoru takes on the way to school. Or maybe on the way back from school.
Something like that.
He's not, like, urgently getting to school in this episode, so.
No. And
she fantasizes about intentionally bumping into him and apologizing and getting him to apologize for her and try to make up for it by buying her coffee. And it's cute, I guess, as a fantasy thing that she's having. She should have better taste.
She should have better taste and maybe
better taste in fashion also.
Maybe not an adult.
Maybe not an adult.
Maybe not someone who's an adult.
Yes.
When she's a child.
Yes. We should talk about that. Maybe not right now, but soon.
Yeah.
Probably after the end of this episode.
But yeah, she has her plan.
Yes, and then we see Usagi and Luna walking by. Usagi's got some ice cream, and Luna fucking fat shames her again. But
Usagi says it's organic.
Yes. Because that's how ice cream works.
Yeah, also I don't know if organic food was a thing in the 90s. This might have just been a thing they added for this dub. Which is funny.
That would be funny.
But they spot Rei across the street from them.
Right. And they start, doing as Usagi is wont to do, which is
spy
on people. Yeah. And Mamoru does show up on the path, and Rei tries to start her plan. She tries to bump into him, and then trips on a crack in the sidewalk.
Yeah,
and then falls face down
and
into
Mamoru
the sidewalk.
steps on
her head. And he's like, "Oh shit, are you okay?" Meanwhile, Usagi is like, "Ha, she's a fucking klutz," and Luna's like, "Is she now?" And Rei's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. And Mamoru is immediately like, okay, cool, later.
And just goes to leave.
Yeah.
And Rei tries to grab him to make sure her plan doesn't go awry.
Yes. She reverses her plan, pretty much.
Uh-huh.
And she tries to make sure he didn't get hurt.
She apologizes for putting her head in the way of his foot.
Yes. Which is extremely funny. And it tries to make it up to him by buying him coffee.
Uh-huh.
Which he's like, I guess?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then they leave with arms intertwined.
Mm-hmm.
She kind of drags him off by the arm. This is not a him plan.
No.
In fairness to Mamoru.
Yeah.
But Usagi is upset.
Mm-hmm.
Sees this and is very upset.
Mm-hmm.
And she rightly points out that he should find someone his own age.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Rightly in the sense that, like, she's right.
Uh-huh.
Although not in the sense... I mean, he is not initializing this interaction. I don't think he knows it's a date.
No.
Luna chides her and says that Mamoru might not be as horrible a person as Usagi thinks he is.
Which is, Luna, is wrong.
Is wrong. She is incorrect. Well, she might be technically right in the sense that he's not as bad as Usagi thinks he is.
Sure.
But that's because Usagi at this point thinks he's a pedophile.
Yeah.
And he's apparently not at this point, at least.
Not at this point.
As far as we know.
As far as we know.
So, given that, he is technically better than Usagi thinks.
I guess, that's fair.
Which is not a high bar.
Not a high bar.
And Usagi decides to snoop.
To snoop.
And follows them.
Mm-hmm.
To Luna's chagrin.
Mm-hmm.
And then we hit the commercial break.
Yeah.
We see Mattress Mac.
Now I have to put that into the opening. You've trapped me.
And when we get back, we see Rei and Mamoru are at the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
Rei, offers him sugar in his coffee, and he refuses, and she's like, yeah, duh, sugar's fucking gross. I like how realistic of a character Rei is.
Yes.
She's like a worse Usagi.
Yeah.
Who's just better at things.
Yeah,
She's a worse, more competent Usagi.
Yeah.
Usagi is, speak of the rabbit, is spying on them. Through
the window to the restaurant.
Yes. She wants to go in, but doesn't have any money.
Right.
So she can't order anything to make it look not suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
She almost uses the pen to transform into a waitress.
Right.
To which Luna tries to stop her and is like, no, you're only supposed to use that power for good. And Usagi responds, then I'll turn into a good waitress.
Which is really funny.
Yes.
But then... Melvin appears.
The Melvin strikes back. A wild Melvin appears. And he is crouched behind her in a similar sort of snooping stance.
Yes.
And is like, hey, what you doing? But Usagi senses opportunity. And asks Melvin if he has any money on him right now. And he says yes. And then she asks if he wants to go on a date right now. To which the answer is, of course, yes. From our good friend.
Don't know. How dare you imply that
it was entirely sarcastic.
Okay.
I said friend for Mamoru, too. And
That's fair. That's fair. I think I might like Mamoru more than Melvin.
That's fair. That's, not a high bar, but again...
it's not.
That's fair. I like Jadeite more than Melvin.
I don't know if I'd go that far. But yeah, they go on a date.
There's also, I should point out, maybe I shouldn't point it out, I don't know. But there's this, when fucking Usagi is talking to Melvin, there's this extremely cute animation of Usagi, backing up in her, crouched stance to scooch up to Melvin.
To, whisper in his ear.
Yes, and it's just fucking adorable.
Yeah, they go inside the restaurant together.
Rei asks Mamoru if he wants to go to the park with her.
Yeah.
Not in so many words.
She is unnecessarily surreptitious about it.
Yes, she's like, there's this cool place. Do you want to see it? And he's like, sure? I never thought I'd say this, but poor Purple Pants in this fucking episode. And Usagi spies on them from an adjacent table and is like determined to follow them to the fucking park. And then turns back to take a sip of her fucking weird blue milkshake. But it's one of those. They got one. And Umino, Melvin, is there. And he's already drinking from it, and she starts to take a sip from it and then sees that he's already drinking from it and screams, which is a valid reaction.
It's a valid reaction.
And then we cut to Ami, who is walking down the street, and Luna meets up with her, clearly having abandoned Usagi to her nonsense. Although, again, Usagi's concerns are valid, and I feel like Luna is not giving enough attention to them.
Yeah. There's a very cute bit where they're both just, like, really excited to see each other.
Yes, I absolutely love Luna and Ami's relationship. Ami is sad. Luna sees that Ami is sad and asks what's wrong. And then we get a cut to Mr. Kukuritsu, who is talking to, I guess, the guy who owns the park. Yeah. He's a besooted man. He kind of just looks like Mamoru in glasses, but with a suit.
Okay.
Like a business suit, not like a tuxedo or anything.
No.
That'd be silly.
That'd be weird.
Well, there was that one time Mamoru wore
tuxedo. Okay. Boy, that just takes on a whole new light knowing that he's a college student. How does he afford that? I mean, he's rich.
He is rich.
But also why? Anyway.
This guy is talking about how the construction crew fucking left. They bolted because, butterflies. Yeah. And so, because of that, Mr. Kukuritsu can stay. Yeah. And keep doing his job for now, at least. Yeah. Until they find a new construction crew. Right. And Mr. Kukuritsu does not have a response to that. No. He's just kind of menacingly staring. And then we get another cut to a flashback, an Ami flashback, where Mr. Kukuritsu is telling her off, basically, and saying she can't she can't just come to the park whenever she wants anymore. Right, yeah. And talking about how humans have exploited Mother Nature's gifts. And then we cut back to the present day with Luna and Ami. They're walking through the park. I love just, like, the fucking, It's Always Sunny cut of, don't come back to the park. Luna and Ami go to the park. And Ami is talking about that. Like, he's never talked to her like that before. And they start suspecting that something is capital U up. Yeah. And then we see we cut to the owner, the suited man again, who's just throwing a fucking cigarette onto the ground. As one does in a park. He's kind of grousing about, like, what's happening, and he's upset. Yes. And then we see a squirrel who sees the cigarette, and its eyes glow red with rage. And we see him getting attacked by squirrels. Yeah. Ami and Luna specifically see him getting attacked by squirrels. Just a bunch of squirrels. Yes. And he's running away from the park, saying he'll never come back to the park. And at this point, they're pretty sure something is capital U, capital P up. Both letters. All caps. But then we get a cut to another part of the park. On the lake. Yeah. We get the boat. We see a boat. We get the boat. Rei and Mamoru are in like a canoe. Yeah. In the middle of the lake. Which I guess they just have. And you could probably rent them. Yeah, sure. I don't know why Mamoru got on this canoe in the first place, because he's clearly very awkward about what's happening. Yes. I guess he maybe it's just because he loves nature so much, because they have that conversation. They do have a conversation about it. He fucking is way into this place. Yeah. And he's really sad that when Rei tells him that it's gonna get demolished. Because he talks about how, like, important nature is and stuff. Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of nice. It is kind of nice. And then we see Usagi spying on them from the shore. And can't hear what the fuck they're saying. No. And so she wants to figure out some way to get closer to them. And then Melvin's behind her, and is Melvin... I don't even want to talk about what Melvin does. Okay. It's not good. It's nothing awful.
It's nothing awful.
It's not sexually assault Usagi again.
No.
Levels. But it's not good.
It's not
It's
good.
just gross.
It's gross.
Melvin's gross. Ami and Usagi
meet up.
They cross paths.
Usagi abandons Melvin, for the record.
Yes, she has left him to the woods. Usagi assumes that Ami and Luna are there to do what she's doing, which is spy on Mamoru and Rei. But Ami and Luna try to explain to her that no, there's this weird shit. Park's haunted, haunted as fuck. And then Mr. Kokoritsu shows up, sort of across a dramatic field of flowers.
Yes.
And starts yelling at them about how you ungrateful humans have abused Mother Nature's gifts. The only way to pay for it is with your deaths. Which they haven't even done anything at this point.
They haven't.
He's just gone full on Poison Ivy. Just all humans bad. And he gets really upset. And then this is the point where Nephrite is like, yeah, okay, energy's maxed out. Fucking take him out, Pegasus. And then we see Pegasus.
Who is a monster.
Comes out of his hat. He gets, the energy getting drained from him turns his hair white.
Yeah.
And, his skin gets paler.
Yeah.
And then he fucking just collapses.
Yes.
And we see Pegasus, who is a weird plant monster. With, weird fucking hands.
Yeah.
And vine hair. And Ami's fucking pissed that this monster is hurting her friend Mr. Kokoritsu.
Yep. And
she immediately transforms.
Yep. And
Luna tells Usagi to get her shit together and transform. And she does. And as soon as she does that, as soon as Usagi's transformation is finished, we immediately cut to back on the boat.
Yeah. And
we see Mamoru gasp. And there's this flash of color across the screen.
Yeah.
And he makes this pained grunting, he has a headache suddenly or something. And Rei is like, hey, what's wrong? And then they get fucking the birds. They get fucking Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
A bunch of birds just appear and knock the boat over.
Yes. As birds are wont to do.
Yeah, sure.
Well, swans.
Okay.
Swans are. Geese.
That's fair.
But these aren't that kind of birds.
No,
they're small sort of doves.
Yeah.
Then cut back. There's a lot of quick cuts here.
Yeah.
Which is going to be hard to describe.
Yeah.
In the Pegasus fight, Pegasus fucking 6 squirrels on
Ami and Usagi.
Yes, and Luna. Luna is getting ripped up by squirrels. Ami bubble sprays.
Yes.
Here. And that somehow that doesn't do what it's always done.
I forget what it does here.
It just kind of knocks out the squirrels.
Oh, right, yeah.
And doesn't obscure the environment around them very much. So, don't know what that is.
Yeah.
And then Pegasus just fucking does hand flower. We know this is a powerful monster.
She says hand flower.
Yes, because she says the names of her moves.
Right. One of which is hand flower.
Is hand flower, where her hand turns into a flower, and then part of it flies off and then wraps Usagi in vines.
Yeah,
and then she uses Pegasus rope, which turns her hair into vines that wrap up Ami. And then we see, again, cutting back to the lake, Rei and Mamoru
have arrived back on shore.
Yes, they have swam back to shore after the birds have wrecked their boat. And Rei senses the evil aura using her psychic powers.
And she tells Mamoru to stay behind.
They've never explained if Rei's psychic powers are something.
I think they are.
I mean, they are definitely a thing.
They're a thing.
She has psychic powers.
What they've never explained is if they're related to her being a guardian.
Yeah, because Ami doesn't have anything like that.
Right. She had them before she was a guardian.
Right, but also, it's clear that being a guardian is something innate to these characters, by the way Luna talks about it. She's, before Ami is given the Mercury pen, Luna sees the mark of Mercury on her forehead.
Right.
And, So, like, for some reason, Ami is the chosen.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure Ray's psychic abilities are real, at
least.
Yeah,
they're real. We've seen them, like, do shit to the monsters. I just wonder what their deal is.
Yeah.
If there's a deal behind them, or if she's just fucking psychic.
Yeah.
So Ray shows up,
mm-hmm.
While the others are captured, and she fucking fire souls the vines apart.
Yes.
By, hitting her friends directly with a fucking fire soul.
It's a shaped charge.
Usagi does nearly get caught on fire.
She does, yes.
And complains about that. But Ray has bigger concerns, which is the monster who interrupted her date.
Yeah.
And then Ami and Ray have a combined speech here that is extremely good, that I have written down verbatim.
Okay, please.
Ami says, "You'll pay for exploiting Mr. Kokoritsu's kindness." And Ray says, "Yeah, and for turning a beautiful park into a place for evil." And then they both simultaneously say, "And now, in the name of the moon, we'll punish you." And Usagi says, "Aw, hey, you stole my catchphrase."
Which is pretty good. Also, this does, of course, get, like, the special, like, background.
Yes. This is, like a unique background, I think, that we haven't seen before for just Ami and Ray.
Yeah.
Pegasus is about to attack again, but then, as monsters are wont to be,
she is struck by a rose.
Yes, exactly. And we see back to his usual standing up in tall things shtick.
Tuxedo Mask.
Tuxedo Mask is standing atop the branches of a tree. And Sailor Moon takes the opportunity to Moon Tiara Pegasus, and she dissolves into, like, decay and dust. And Mr. Kokoritsu's hair color returns. We see him sort of starting to stir awake, I think. And Tuxedo Mask just fucks off.
Yeah.
And then we start moving into the denouement. Mr. Kokoritsu can't remember anything that happens, so we see that that's a recurring thing with the mark of Nephrite.
Yeah.
And Ami assures him that it was just a bad dream. And then Mamoru shows up. He's all wet still because he was in the lake.
There's a very weird bit here.
Yes, so Usagi sort of has dropped her crusade against Mamoru in this scene, which is weird.
Yeah, I guess
it doesn't really get brought up. And then Rei, like, whispers to Usagi that she thinks that Mamoru might secretly be Tuxedo Mask.
Yeah, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because, like, Tuxedo Mask wasn't wet.
Yeah, exactly, right?
But Mamoru still is.
Mamoru's still wet. Like, different clothes, like, fucking, like, Mamoru doesn't have roses.
He doesn't have roses.
He doesn't have a cane?
No.
He doesn't fly.
He doesn't fly.
I guess we don't see him, like, fall off a building or anything. So
I guess not. We don't know if Mamoru can fly.
Do you think Tuxedo Mask would ride that small train in the
I don't
theme
think
park,
Tuxedo Mask would.
Would he ride a small train?
No.
He likes tall. He likes being tall. But yeah, Usagi yells that there's no way that fucking loser could be
Tuxedo Mask.
And Mamoru's like, wait, who's Tuxedo Mask? Which again is evidence, I feel like, that, I mean, he's not, like, he would know who Tuxedo Mask is.
He would, obviously.
If it was him.
Yeah.
And they're both just like, nobody. And then Melvin fucking shows up, and everybody teases Usagi about dating Melvin, which is fair.
Fair.
But
yeah.
But fuck Melvin.
Fuck Melvin.
And then that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And then next time on Sailor Moon,
I forget.
Weddings.
Oh yeah, so Usagi is talking about weddings.
Yeah. There's a cute glasses girl that we see. And she's talking about weddings, and we see her envisioning being in a wedding dress, dancing with both Motoki and Tuxedo Mask.
Yes.
So that's our first dive into Arc 2.
Yeah. Got some Nephrite.
Yes, a lot of Nephrite. We got Nephrite's got a very different style. Not a bunch of people getting knocked to sleep.
No, anymore. Just one person.
Yes,
being sort of cultivated.
Yes, there's a couple of things I want to talk about with these two episodes.
Okay.
Actually. The first thing is theme. in terms of what we've talked about so far.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were talking about how the finale of the Jadeite arc was very much a culmination of everything leading up to that point. About the themes of exploiting the anxieties of teenage girls.
Yes.
And I feel like these 2 episodes moved away from
that.
At least as far as the monsters are concerned.
Yes.
Because, like, the first episode feels especially, like, not very thematic, I think.
Okay.
Because, purely because, like, how do I explain this? The second episode has a lot of focus on Usagi and Rei, especially, and their, like, relationships and thoughts on relationships and stuff like that. And I feel like that is relevant to the themes we were talking about.
Yeah.
Except it has nothing to do with the monster.
No. It's very strange because this episode the park's existence is mainly just sort of a catalyst to make Rei interested in finding a boyfriend, which leads her to dating Mamoru.
Yes.
And it doesn't really have much to do outside of that.
Yeah. Like, the nature stuff is, like, completely irrelevant to the actual text.
Yeah.
Or not text. Do you know what I mean? It's not relevant to the main characters arc in the episode.
It's relevant to Ami because she knows Mr. Kokoritsu and cares about the park, but she's not the focus of this episode.
No. And that's the only reason I think I don't know what the sort of anxiety or issue is being touched upon in the first episode, besides tennis.
We could watch more of this arc and figure out that there's some other theme to it.
Right, that's true.
There's none that comes immediately to my mind from my memory, but
the in terms of patterns of these 2 episodes, I mean, 2 is not a pattern,
right?
But in terms of similarities between these 2 episodes and setting up the ongoing issue of the Nephrite arc, we have the Nephrite is using a monster caged within an object to drain energy from a specific person, and that person thus far has been someone close to a major recurring character.
Yeah.
So in the first one, it was Rui, who is close to Naru.
Yes.
And then Mr. Kokoritsu, who is close to Ami.
Yeah. I think that might happen more.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a couple of examples that I'm pretty sure are from this arc. But yeah.
And then there's some other stuff about like, I think it's important that we learned Mamoru's name at this point, probably.
Yes, yeah.
And also that, like, in that first episode, we get that bit of Tuxedo Mask, like, actually fighting.
Yeah.
Then getting, like, knocked out, basically.
Yeah.
Not knocked out, but, like, something happens to him.
Something weird is going on with Tuxedo Mask. And also Mamoru, I guess.
Yes, something else is also going on with Mamoru, because he fucking gasps as soon as Sailor Moon transforms, even though he's nowhere near them.
Yeah.
At least that it seems like that's the reaction, the thing he's reacting to. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it was like the monster transforming.
Yeah, maybe.
But something weird. It was also even a similar effect.
Yeah.
So something weird is happening there. So we're getting more information about Tuxedo Mask. Like, we see Tuxedo Mask finally fucking do something directly, and then gets immediately very tired, which is deeply funny to me. But yeah, I'm excited to see what other pattern, because it took me a few episodes to figure out the patterns for the first arc. So I'm excited to see.
I'll say I remembered something. The first episode is about Naru, which I think is going to be a thing in this arc.
Okay, cool. I like Naru a lot, so I'm excited for that. Should we talk about the pedophilia thing?
We should talk about it at least a little bit.
Yes.
We're probably gonna have to get into it a few times in this show.
So
I want to say off the bat, I understand what it's going for. I understand that the fantasy of the older man is a thing for lots of girls.
Yes, this is a show, we've talked about how it's very much intended for teenage girls. And, like, I think it's notable, at this point at least, that we don't see Mamoru, like, reciprocating any of Rei's emotions or anything. It is purely about Ray wanting to get with a college guy.
Yeah. I will say, though, maybe they could have just made him, like, a couple years younger.
Yeah.
Maybe Mamoru could have been, like, 16.
They could also be, like, 17.
Yeah.
And in college, but...
Yeah, I guess. That still feels a little on the line for me, but...
Sure. But yeah.
It's not great.
It's not super comfortable.
No.
I think it's interesting to... It'll be interesting to me to see how this episode how this series handles that.
Yeah.
Especially because we just finished watching Utena.
Uh-huh.
Which also has a lot of things about teenage girls having relationships with adult men.
That's a generous way to phrase it, but yeah.
Yes. But depicts it largely...
as a bad thing.
Yes. It depicts it the way it should, which is as a bad thing.
Yeah. And to be clear, I'm not saying it is bad on Rei's part to want to date Mamoru.
Yes.
If Mamoru were to reciprocate, that would be bad.
Yes.
And also, it's not bad on Usagi's part for wanting to date Motoki.
Yes. Or Tuxedo Mask.
Who
also, as far as we know, is an adult.
Yeah. He's at least drawn in the same way that all the adult men in this show are.
He's big.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That last episode... I don't know what to think of these two episodes, actually.
I like Nephrite a lot.
I like Nephrite a lot. I like a lot of the character interaction in these episodes. Plot-wise, they're really weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Is it just because you're used to the structure of the Jadeite episodes?
Maybe.
Or is there something else?
I think it really does come back to the idea, like, I can't draw the line between the plot of the episodes and the anxiety, the, like, teenage girl anxieties.
Yeah.
And that's really throwing me off.
That's fair.
Not even just anxiety. I keep using the word anxieties, but again, they had, like, the episode that was just about cute animals.
Yeah.
But, like, just, nature.
Uh-huh.
Tennis. Like...
I don't know.
I guess those are kind of girl things. Ish.
I guess.
But they don't feel nearly as big as, like, fat-shaming, or misogyny, or fucking Melvin, and everything about him.
Yeah, Melvin sure is a problem for all teenage girls.
I feel like every teenage girl has met a Melvin.
I think I've been a Melvin. That's a many teenage girls.
I think I've also
that I knew.
I've probably been a Melvin.
Yeah.
I didn't go to school though for most of my life, so my Melvin.
I said many. That's not accurate. I was a Melvin for the teenage girls that I knew when I was a teenager.
Right. But yeah.
Yeah.
Melvin, I need to know. I know we. I know we glossed over it, but just his fucking kissing lips.
It's real bad.
I
hate
awful.
it. I hate it. I hate to see it.
Lips are the worst, and his fucking heartbeat eyes.
I hate him.
Just hellish.
I hate to see him. I think that's it for us. So, as always, you can find me at Lorena27 on Twitter.
And you can find me at FryLordZarek on Twitter.
And you can find both of us at late_school. And as I said last episode, if you listen to the show on Google Play, please give us a review. Or just send me send me a DM on Twitter that's like, hey, show is good.
Send us a DM.
Send both of us a DM.
Yeah, send it to the Late to School.
Yes.
Twitter.
And also thank you to Kevin MacLeod for use of his song Semi-Funk.
Yeah. That's such a good fucking song.
It's a really good song.
We haven't actually said.
We haven't talked about the song.
People can probably intuit that we like the song given that we used it as the theme song. But hey, Kevin MacLeod, pretty fucking good.
He does good work.
He does good. He's doing God's work.
Mm-hmm. The moonlight is a messenger of love. I'll figure out some way to make that work.
Just like that. Just leave that long pause. talk? This is maybe something you can put in the before or the as a stinger or something. But can we talk about Mattress Mac real quick?
I don't know about Mattress Mac.
Did you see an ad, a political campaign ad for Josh Culperland?
I believe
with a loud old man.
I believe I did. I believe I saw 2 ads for that man, one for him and one against him.
Really? Okay.
On the same episode.
I only saw the ones for him.
Okay.
And it was Mattress Mac, who is an old man who runs a mattress store, I believe. A franchise of mattress stores. Who I learned recently that he's a shit.
Okay. He owns a mattress store, so big surprise.
Do you want to talk about Sailor Moon now?
I would.